Happy Friday. It's book club time again. If this is your first time seeing any of my videos, I'm C.M. Vasquez, author of The Birdcage Society Falling, the first in an ongoing psychological mystery series. Today, I'm going to be recapping and giving my impressions of Chapter 16 of Darkly Dreaming Dexter. This is an online book club that I have started reading the Dexter series chapter by chapter and giving my impressions. I do have a full playlist of chapters 1 through 15 on my YouTube profile, so if you'd like to join the book club, please read along with me, subscribe, and give me your own impressions in the comments. Let's get started. Chapter 16 starts off with a description of Harry's death. He died in stages over the course of a year and a half. Dexter had been 19 and a sophomore in college. Deb only 17 at the time. Dexter recollects an event, so there is a flashback in this chapter, before Harry's death, where he and Deb had gone to see him in hospice. Harry looked frail and greenish and was hooked up to a ventilator. He seemed so out of it that it may as well have been as if his body was the only thing that was alive, and his mind had just gone. But when the nurse went to inject something into Harry's arm, Harry became lively, just enough to say no shot, and looked pleadingly at Dexter, who proceeds to stop the nurse from pushing down on the plunger of the needle. When he does, the nurse looks up at him, and Dexter is taken aback by the look in her eyes. It's cold, inhuman rage directed at Dexter for daring to stop her. And with one look, Dexter recognizes that she's a predator, soulless and evil, just like him. When the nurse leaves, Harry watches Dexter watch the nurse and realizes that Dexter knows. Harry tells Dexter that the nurse has been administering way too much morphine, and it takes Dexter a minute to catch on to what Harry is actually telling him, but the nurse is intentionally overdosing patients. And Dexter thinks that this makes sense for a nurse who is also a killer, because who would suspect that she's overdosing patients? And Harry asks Dexter to make her stop. A thrill goes through Dexter at the thought of permanently stopping the nurse. He recalls that Harry had fed Dexter's dark passenger when he was a child, and in his teenage years as well. He fed him stray pets, deer, and once a feral monkey that had been terrorizing South Miami, all in preparation for eventually moving on to people. Harry had taken Dexter through all the theoretical steps, including stalking and disposal. So when the time came, Dexter would be prepared to do it right. But prior to this, Harry had always held Dexter back from people. So this nurse would be his very first human kill. Dexter makes absolutely certain that that's what Harry meant. During the dialogue for this, Harry says the phrase, "It's like this." And if you remember from a previous chapter when Dexter recalls Harry talking to Dexter about what he is, Dexter says that Harry says this phrase a lot. And whatever came after could always be trusted, because it always was, just like that. That's a phrase that I will remember from this book. Harry was Dexter's constant. He could always trust Harry to be a certain way, honorable, trustworthy, and wise. I still wonder if that will change later on, because no one's perfect, not even fictional characters. This chapter ends with Dexter still in the flashback, describing the first time the dark passenger really took over, and the Dexter self melding into the background of his psyche, to do what Dexter feels he has been created to do. And he did. Although it's not described in this chapter, I hope that we'll get more into it next chapter. It feels like a pretty important event for Dexter, his very first kill, so I hope that he does describe it in detail. Join me next time on Wednesday for chapter 17.